What's up, everybody? It's your best pal Nick coming to you with another video here. Now today we're not necessarily doing an unboxing. I mean, I guess we technically have for the past 4 videos. But today we're going to be building our Build-A-Figure from the Legend series. Now, here's the cool thing. This Build-A-Figure is the very first Build-A-Figure that the Legend series has done. So I'm really excited about that. And we get an old school wrestler, one that I don't feel like enough people give credit for the era. But I definitely think he was kind of like one of the poster childs for WWE at the time. Excuse me. But we're going to build today Mr. Bob Backlund, okay? And Bob Backlund, he was kind of like, like I said, one of those a little bit on the older side of the era of wrestling. Wrestled people like Iron Sheik, more than likely wrestled people like High Chief Peter Maivia, and, you know, had people like friends like Sergeant Slaughter in the past, Dory Funk, a little bit more on the older side of things, which isn't a bad thing. I love that. That's my era. I love being a part of that era. I love learning about that territories and stuff like that when it comes to wrestling. So with that being said, today we're going to build good old Mr. Bob Backlund, and I think this is his presidential Mr. President Bob Backlund, or Bob Backlund for president. So I'm super excited to have him, especially in that era as well, and also for my collection. So I'm excited that we're going to build him up real quick. So let's take a look real quick and get that rolling. Yeah, peace. All right. Now, I will say this. Sometimes these Build-A-Figures, they got to snap in, and they got to really go in tight with these guys. So especially for when it comes down to the torso and the legs. So sometimes you gotta have to make sure that these are all snapped in, and you'll hear sometimes a click. So got that done right there for Bob. Let's do the arms, which has got some pointing fingers on him already, but let's make sure we got that in there. So arms are in. Yep, got that there. I'm gonna change his hands though. I'm gonna do that here though. Let me get his arms. There we go. This is so cool. I love doing Build-A-Figures. This is probably like my third, I want to say like maybe my third or fourth Build-A-Figure, because I Build-A-Figured for Disciple for the Monday Night Wars, and then I also Build-A-Figured for another Monday Night Wars. I think I had Commissioner Shawn Michaels, or Manager Shawn Michaels. What was my other recent one that I did? I have a couple that aren't fully built as well. I have a Virgil that's not built. I need the arms for him. And then I also have a Sam Roberts figure from the WrestleMania editions. So got to get Sam Roberts' arms. I'm always missing arms. And it's not because I don't want to get the figure. It's just sometimes those figures just go way overpriced. So that Virgil figure, I have to get a Brock Lesnar figure in order to, and I think that was the Royal Rumble edition or the Royal Rumble series, and just wasn't like, I'm not going to buy Brock Lesnar like that, and they overpriced him. Oh, gouging. Ugh, hate it. Anyway, that's just me venting, guys. So it's definitely one that you can think about, and if you ever want, like, you can try to find loopholes around it. I was actually thinking about buying a, what they call, or what is it, the Triple H. I think there was a Monday Night Wars Triple H, where it was essentially Virgil, but it's Virgil for the NWO back in the day for WCW. So that's also one that I'm like, okay, cool. You know, maybe I'll just do that because it's not as expensive as buying a Brock Lesnar just to get Virgil arms. So I could do that, do something with the body, you know, as well. So I'm gonna figure this out here because I gotta figure out how that's supposed to be gripping hands, because this is not gripping hands whatsoever. I think these are supposed to be fighting hands, but okay. So, all right. So when we look at this Build-A-Figure for Bob Backlund, excuse me, this is a pretty solid Build-A-Figure. Shoulder's a little bit wider than normal, but you know what? I'll take whatever I can of Bob Backlund. Here's the other cool thing. We don't always have to have this body, right? You know, you could always swap heads, you know, for, you know, mix and matching with other figures that you might have. You could find a very plain Jane figure, wrestling tights, boots, take Bob Backlund's head off this bad boy and put it right on there, and you have a classic Bob Backlund with red tights or blue tights, what have you, you know? Something simple. You don't have to go anything crazy, right? Now, with that being said, This for the president, Mr. Bob Backlund. This came with the Michelle McCool because it came with the head, and it comes with a Mr. President Bob Backlund cardboard cutout, which I think is pretty cool. Also came with 2 pointy fingers. I think I said them in the other video, but this is pretty much it. It's not like anything super special, but if you're just trying to collect, I will say I did buy all these figures in order to get Bob Backlund. Not gonna lie to you. So this is a pretty cool figure. First of mine for Bob Backlund, but I think down the line they're probably going to have older wrestlers coming in just to kind of give back to that older era, not necessarily Attitude Era or WCW, Monday Night Nitro. You know, we'll always have the up-and-comers in the Elite Editions, but I slowly start seeing that they're bringing in older wrestlers. But one of the last series that they had, I believe it was, and correct me if I am wrong, I believe it was series 125 or 124. They threw in Coco Beware, which is a legacy legend figure. I believe they were supposed to put him with the legends, but they ended up putting him in the Elite series. Definitely a flex, I would say. But at the same time, a cool way to get him out there with the newer wrestlers and kind of shed a little bit of light on the older wrestlers, kind of like Bob Backlund here. So I will say, they're starting to bring out more of those. I love that. I like that we're seeing wrestlers that aren't really the norm kind of coming back little by little. The Monday Night Wars figures tends to do that here and there for the Walmart series, but with the Legends, I love that they're starting to do that, especially with the newer series. I think Series 31, we have Bull Nakano, we have Tito Santana, which I'm so in love with that, And then also we have for the Ultimate, for the Legends on Series 31, we have Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So there's a lot of cool older wrestlers coming back, making their way in the series. I'm excited to see it. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Like, follow, subscribe if you can. If not, no biggie. We just having fun over here. So with that being said, are you going to buy the whole series just to build Bob Backlund? That's entirely up to you. Or are you going to wait for somebody to sell them on eBay piece by piece and then just buy the head? All right. Well, with that being said, you all have a great rest of your day. Until next time, peace.